All right, everybody. This is our first episode of the Kings of the North Fantasy Football Podcast 2025. So, my name is Dabs. We got Greeny, we got Leatherwood, and we are talking fantasy football. We love it. We're just three good friends who love football. We've been in fantasy football for 10 plus years each. A lot of championships between the three of us. So, we enjoy it. So, we're going to go round robin here and just have each one talk a little bit about themselves. And so, Greeny, go first.
I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, but I've been playing fantasy football since I was 12 years old. I started my first league as the co-manager with my dad, which really meant just he managed it and I watched. But it started an addiction, and I love playing fantasy football, man. And I've won three championships, um, and I'm hoping to win some more. But obviously, there's always room for improvement, and that's really what this podcast is about. So.
Yeah, that's cool. He's a tough competitor. Trust me, I've played in a lot of leagues with him. All right, next is Leatherwood. I've played in a lot of leagues with this guy too. He is tough as heck. So, all right, Leatherwood.
Nice of you to say. I love fantasy just as much as the next guy. And my story getting into fantasy, my brother-in-law was in a league that he'd always tell me about, and I wanted to join it, but they had limited spots. Well, one year the commissioner just decides he's not going to play. So everybody in the league was just going to drop out. And I told him with no experience, I will be the league commissioner. And so that was in 2012. So I've been playing since then, played in a lot of different formats. I've After the decade and a half or so, you kind of get a feel of what you like to do, but there's always new leagues that pop up. And, Dynasty, for instance, both of us are in, or all of us are in Dynasty leagues together. It's kind of a new format to learn what you're
Hmm.
used to just every year resetting the draft. So it's really fun. As you can see, I'm a huge Steelers fan. Been that way since I was 8 years old. Um, so don't confuse with the other yellow.
Definitely not a Packers fan, right?
Oh yeah, it's so terrible being a Packers fan.
Yep.
But we're
Yep.
happy that we have Aaron Rodgers. The
Oh,
Packers,
that's right. That's
the
right.
Packers
Crazy what a
discarded
move.
Rodgers.
sloppy seconds
Oh
coming from.
God. Jeez.
The spiritual darkness retreats are coming to Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Hey, I bring it on. If that means another
yeah.
title, we'll take it.
Oh,
Whatever it takes.
that's crazy. So, my name's Dabs. I've been playing for probably about 13 to 15 years. Got a lot of championships, but I play with a lot of different leagues. Some tough leagues, man. PPR leagues, Dynasty, and I love it. And so really like these other guys, that's what this podcast is about because we've got experience. Most of us we get to the playoffs almost every year. All three of us do in one way or another in one of our leagues. So we have a lot of experience. Um, we've done very good. Neither one of us, none of us have ever finished last place. We've always made playoffs or been in the running every single year. So that's the key. So we're going to go ahead and start talking about what we do to prepare for a fantasy season. So each season comes up, you've got draft, and then you've got strategy. And so that can change from year to year, depending on availability, age of players, because as the young running backs get older, they start aging out, and then draft. There's a lot of things that affect fantasy strategy. And so we're going to go around and just talk about how you specifically prepare for a fantasy football season. So we're going to start with Greeny. And how do you prepare Greeny for a fantasy football season?
I mean, this is the perfect time to do it. We're getting really close to preseason. We're all excited about it. And so you're starting to do your research on your players, starting to get your strategies up. And if you're like us, you play in a lot of one quarterback, one tight end leagues, PPR. That has become the most popular way to play fantasy football, and it's still, in my opinion, the most fun. Though I have joined a dynasty league recently with a super flex, and that is super fun. But the first strategy I'm going to talk about with these leagues is I'm gonna title it "Go Hard or Go Home." And basically, what that means is you have two onesie positions in fantasy football, and that is your quarterback and your tight end position. And with this, it really means either you're all in or you're all out on the onesie positions. And when you think about it, Dabs and Leatherwood, who are the top quarterbacks and tight ends in football? What would you guys say?
right now, or for fantasy.
We're,
I mean,
we're right now
I
in
would say
fantasy.
I would say Lamar Jackson, in my opinion.
100%, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'd say Josh Allen, and then you got Brock Bowers. I think he's the new tight end that's going to be
Right?
reigning king for a long time.
100%. He is a young stud. So when you think about it, um, in fantasy, it's good to separate into tiers. And when you think about it, tier one for quarterbacks, you got Lamar, Josh Allen, like you guys said. You could probably put maybe Burrow or Hurts in there. Jaden Daniels, those guys are sort of on the cusp. You can argue with it. Tight end, you have Bowers, Kittle, and McBride.
Hmm.
And so what the strategy entails is either you go all in on one of these guys. Say I'm in the third round and I'm going all in on Lamar Jackson, or I'm going all in on Brock Bowers. Though recently Brock Bowers is going in the late second, which is crazy. But go for it, because the advantage you get with these onesie positions is huge. If you're playing, because if you're in a 12-man league, which is most common, you're playing with other guys that are they might be running out unfortunately, one of them is going to be running out of Kyle Pitts on the field. And the difference between your Brock Bowers or your George Kittle, your Trey McBride versus their Kyle Pitts, you're talking you could be 10 plus points versus these guys every week. It's a huge advantage,
Yep.
especially with how young Brock Bowers is, and even the same with quarterback. Lamar Jackson just scored 30 more points than any other fantasy player last year. And this is not the only time we've seen him do it. And Josh Allen has been the QB1 5 of the past 7 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, this is something you will be far and ahead of your other league mates. But now I'm going to talk about the other side of it, and which is the go home, which basically means if you don't go all in on these positions, say you go in on good running backs and good wide receivers, this basically means you punt the position and go for low round, high upside quarterbacks and tight ends. And I got a couple of names in here that match that description. Like Dak Prescott is currently going in the 10th and 11th round of fantasy football drafts. He has finished in the top 10 in 6 of his 10 years played. He's finished in the top 5 3 of those years. Justin Fields, with how much he runs, you have to buy on this upside. Kyler Murray has finished in the top 5 2 of his years playing. And you can get these guys way later and invest more in higher picks and running backs and wide receivers. And for tight ends, I have a couple names: Tyler Warren, Tucker Kraft, and Dalton Kincaid. All of these guys have lots of talent, and well, 2 of them are in high explosive offenses. But Tyler Warren could be the best target on his team, and they could force feed him like it was Brock Bowers last year. So basically, this is like either you're in or you're out on these players. Either way, you're going to get high value and advantage in these positions.
Leatherwood, you notice he didn't have Loveland on there from the Bears. Packers fans, you gotta love them. Good strategy. Anything else for us?
You have to remind them that the Bears even exist.
Yeah, it's hard. I can't remember them every year.
Oh man. It's gonna be some year. I can't wait for football to start. It's gonna be awesome.
We're all excited.
So anything else, Greeny, for us?
That is it on my strategy. Yeah, we're ready to hear Leatherwood.
All right, Leatherwood, what you got, bro?
I go into every year with the same strategy. It will vary, but what I mean by that is know thyself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Know your league. Know specifically the other guys that are in your league. And if you've played with them before, you have the luxury of kind of seeing like how these guys draft. That helps you no matter how you're slotted in the draft. You kind of get a feel after a couple picks who's going where based on what type of player that they are. So that kind of helps you formulate a strategy against it. So if I know that you, Dabs, for instance, you like to go for that tight end one, for instance, depending on where I am in the draft ahead of you, I might purposely throw you off and get that guy because I know how you're going to think.
Yeah, you would
And
do that
so
too.
right there, I'm trying to do a little bit of mental
Yeah.
jujitsu to throw other, and that's just one example,
Mhm.
Yeah.
But after you kind of get the flow of it, what I like to do personally is I like to set up an ESPN.
Mhm.
Um, I like to run mock drafts based on what league that I'm in. I establish the same rules. So I want to kind of, and I'll run through several of them. I just want to get more at bats to kind of see how the flow is. And after that, my subconscious is going to kind of kick in when it's actual draft time, knowing where some of these guys are going to land. So let's say that I'm eyeballing Lamar Jackson in the third round, for instance. Just make it up. Depending on where I am, if it's like a back-to-back snake draft and I'm, you know, 12-1 or 2-11, whatever you have to know he's going to be gone by the next time I get around. So if I want him, I've got to invest early now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now beyond that, that kind of gets into where some guys like to have a pre laid out format. No matter what, I'm taking QB1, which I think that's a terrible strategy. Always going with the quarterback first, but other than that, you can't just go into a draft thinking no matter what, I'm going RB1, RB2. Now I'm going back to wide. Now I'm going to
Mhm.
fill it in the second wide,
Yep.
and then maybe a tight end, and then I'll do a quarterback. It never works that way.
Yep.
It always is going to amount to disaster for you later down.
100%.
It doesn't matter what ESPN gives you the rank on the
Yeah.
draft. They don't know.
Exactly.
I've had great rankings and ended up kind of last, and I think you guys have seen that too.
Mhm.
I've had a low grade draft and end up towards the top tier of the league.
Yeah.
It That's what's so fun about fantasy is that you
Mhm.
Yeah.
have no idea what's going to happen. You
Yeah.
could plan it as much as you want, and your top pick got traded to a dump team, and he's not used or injuries, for instance. So speaking of injuries, they always seem to happen in those pre games, sometimes in training camp too. That particular reason is why I personally like to have a draft after all of the pre games of the season have happened.
Yeah.
Now, your guys in your league might not have that schedule and that flexibility,
Right.
um, but that kind of eliminates a lot of unknowns.
Mhm.
Um, so that's my strategy going in. You have to be flexible. You have to kind of have a baseline, a format that you want to follow.
Mhm.
But you also have to be aware that if I have all my hopes and dreams on one player that I know I'm going to get, he might have a down year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You have to have a solid team. Um, and you know, last year is good for kind of getting a feel. Definitely learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a kind of guy, I've told you guys this. I don't trade well. I always end up the loser. I always get taken advantage of because at the time I think, yeah, sure, I don't need this guy.
Yeah.
And just has luck habits. Luck has it, I always end up being the loser. So I try not to trade, but that
Yeah.
means that I want to have backups.
Yep.
So
Mm.
at what point are you pivoting away from picking, let's say you play team defenses. Maybe I
Mhm.
don't want the team defense number one, even
Mhm.
though that's what other people are picking. Maybe I want to get solid backups for my bench,
Yeah.
knowing that something's going to happen. There's bye weeks. There's just always the unknown.
Yeah.
That kind of summarizes it for me.
Yeah.
I think
So
it's
let me ask you guys a question, based on your strategy, because there's a lot of different strategies out there, like the zero running back type strategy, the balanced strategy. Which do
yeah.
you guys prefer? Let's start with Greeny.
Um I think and this is something that's become more popular recently, but hero running back
Hmm.
I really like, just for the fact that so running backs are the more like it's harder to get good ones than wide receivers. There's more wide receivers that have more value. But if you can get that really good one and then have a middle of the pack RB2 and just have way better wide receivers, I think it always works in your favor. The hero running back strategy, for instance, you could run out on the field with a number two overall pick and have Bijan Robinson as your running back, and then not take another running back for 5 or 6 rounds and just fill up on all your other positions because running back, they are more valuable for the fact that there are less good ones than wide receivers, but that also can play in the favor of hero running back in the fact that they're more volatile. It's harder to find which running back is going to be good every season. It's easier to project how wide receivers will turn out. So I really enjoy that strategy.
Yeah, it's a good strategy. Leatherwood, what do you think, bro?
I kind of take a different stance. Maybe it's the same thing, just in my mind, it's a little bit different.
Hmm.
I like to personally, I like to stack up on running backs for the fact that I know that there's going to be some stars that are injured,
Yeah.
right? So not only am I protecting myself, but I also think of it as a defensive play. If I'm hogging, let's say that I've got 4 solid running backs, by week 5, somebody's coming to me for a trade. And
Mm-hmm.
this is where
100%.
this is
Oh,
where
yeah.
I can win
Yep.
when I hold the leverage.
Yep.
If you want a
Yep.
good running back, most likely they're not going to be on the waiver wire.
Yep.
Take a flyer if you want to take a chance on
Hmm.
Kenneth Gainwell or whoever, sorry to call anybody, but
Kenneth Gainwell deep dive.
yeah, I mean, like there's always that second string guy that well, I hope maybe he'll come in, but it never works out. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
you know, like I said, it's a two-edged sword. It's protecting me, but it's also a defensive play that's eventually might pay off for me down the road with a nice trade. So
Yeah.
that's how I approach running backs. And like you said, Greedy. Personally, I feel like wide receivers, you can find them out there. There's a handful. I mean, think about it. On most offenses, there's 3, maybe 4.
Yep.
You throw in tight ends, certain tight ends, kind of fill them in for a receiver. So I would even place a priority over a star top tight end than I would maybe over, a star wide receiver. Depends on who it is and when they fall to me in the draft. But that's how I'm projecting my running back positions in the future.
Yeah, that's a good approach. So I look at it is, and I know you guys do the same thing. Of course, it starts with what type of format your league is. Is it 2 running back slots? Is it 1? How many wide receivers? How many flex positions are there, right? Because that dictates your draft. For me, I try to take the balanced approach. I think I'm like you, Nate. I try to let the draft fall to me. Because basically, if I'm at pick 7 and, you know, I'm doing best player available at that point. I'm not dead set on taking a running back or dead set on a wide receiver. It's the best player available at number 7, right? So that's the approach I
Christian
take.
McCaffrey coming up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. See, McCaffrey's gonna. I mean, like all the reports
Dude,
say that he's
he's
healthy.
gonna be there. He would be there,
He's
and
gonna be there
that
in
is the
every
hardest
draft.
decision of this year.
Yep, he's gonna be there in every draft. So, and then two, both all 3 of us are factoring in. If we're in dynasty leagues, is it a young running back, young wide
Yeah,
receiver?
that's true.
Because if you take Derrick Henry with your number 1 pick and you're in a dynasty, it's not a good pick.
Nope.
He's
Yeah.
not he's 30, 31, I think. He's gonna hit
He's
the wall.
31, yeah.
When you got Genty staring you in the face or CMC, but CMC's risky. Nate, you've won. Leatherwood, I keep calling you Nate. Leatherwood, you've won. You've won with CMC. I've won with CMC.
Yeah, but it was several years
I
ago.
know.
See,
He
I
was on the Panthers when I won. So
I only get CMC when he's injured. I've gotten him both years. You guys dropped him. All right, so I'm not salty at all. I'm mentioning that.
if I could jump in one more thing with the
Yep.
running backs that I
Go for
wanted
it.
to mention was
Mhm.
how I'm going to pair him with my quarterback.
Yeah.
Because last year was a great example. I took Derrick Henry maybe on the top end of the second round, I think.
Yep.
But I also threw in Lamar Jackson, and that gave me a stability. It just so happened that Ravens had a killer offense statistically, and I scored a lot of points, won a lot of weeks last year with that tag team of Lamar and Derrick. So, and think about it, they're a perfect combination or a perfect example of when you get on that goal line, I'm almost guaranteed a touchdown.
Yep.
Because it doesn't matter if Lamar runs it in, doesn't matter if he hands it off to Derrick, it doesn't matter if he tosses it.
You're getting the 6 points.
I'm getting my touchdowns when I get in that red zone.
Absolutely.
Which this is a good segue. I think we almost skipped over your strategy, Dabs, for the season. Because I know you're very high on this one. You're doing it in every league, and that sort of ties in with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I thought he purposely skipped himself.
I'm trying not to give my strategy away, dude. Yeah, so I agree with Leatherwood, man. Stacks, and I know, Greeny, you've done the same thing because you've got a stack right now in one of your dynasty leagues. It's pretty sick.
I got the best stack, dude.
You got the best stack. And so the best stack right now, besides Lamar and Derrick, right, from a running standpoint, from just a pure stack standpoint, would be Chase and Burrow.
100%.
That is a nasty stack. And if you can get those guys, if you can get Chase is going top 3 every draft.
Yeah, he's average 1 right now.
He's unbelievable. If you can get Chase, if you got the number 1 pick, you take Chase all day long. Don't even think twice. Don't overthink it.
Yeah.
You can get Burrow in probably the 4th or 5th round.
He's dropping more and more recently, which is weird.
Yeah, I mean, some rounds you can get him in the 5th round.
Yeah.
I think it's probably his injury history.
It could be that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little troubling, but if the upside is so huge, and my other stack is Hurts and Brown. If you can get the triple on that, if you can add Saquon, so basically you would be taking.
Then you're just the Eagles.
What Leatherwood does.
Yes.
And then you just add a receiver to that. That's nasty because you can't do that with the Ravens. Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's not gonna do nothing.
I think what's so great about the stack strategy is that it's sort of what Leatherwood was talking about earlier. You are doubling your points, or you're guaranteeing points, especially when you're in a good offense.
Yeah, all day long. Yeah, especially if you have that wide receiver portion of it. And here's another thing, guys, on the leagues. Any leagues that you're playing in that counts 4 points for a quarterback throwing a touchdown, you got to change that or get out of that league.
You got to leave. You got to leave.
I do hate those leagues.
They don't know what they're doing.
Dumbest, stupid rule.
Touchdown 6 points. Come on.
Because wide receivers and running backs, 6 points. Like it makes no sense to me.
I feel like
ESPN does that.
It destroys any pocket passing quarterback, and only running quarterbacks are valuable at that point, which I don't like.
It's dumb. So, yeah, just check your league out. And I think Leatherwood brought up a great point. And I love this too. Know your league that you're in. Greeny, you and I, Leatherwood, we go way back. We've all played in leagues together. We're playing in 2-3 leagues together already this year. Know your league, because the guys who you can trade with, the guys that you can fleece, and trust me, all of
the
us
guys that
guys.
won't trade with you too.
Yes. And it's even I like Leatherwood's point of know yourself, because he knows that he doesn't like trading because he knows that it hasn't gone well for him in the past. So know yourself, because it will change the way you draft.
Yes. Another thing that I've seen is not only know your teammates or your league mates and who you're playing against, but know their favorite teams.
Yes.
Because 100%. The Homer trade gets them every single time.
It's stupid every time. I just got the Bucky Irving off that.
Oh, every time, dude.
Unless you're a Steelers fan, because our yard sale shopping free agency is never good for fantasy.
God.
aside from Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, I think those are the only
Oh my
relevant
goodness.
Steelers ever worth
Bro,
mentioning,
That was the
unless I'm
fantasy
forgetting somebody.
juiciness, dude.
dude, that was the ultimate triple stack with
Yeah, killer
Roethlisberger, Bell.
bees.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Roethlisberger was throwing 5K a year. Le'Veon was going for
Oh, dude.
1,300. Antonio was going for
It
1,500.
was sick, bro.
It
That
was
was the
beautiful.
ultimate triple stack.
Right, but I'm gonna say the same thing, only reverse it. For instance, let's say that you are a fan of a terrible team. You
Hmm.
know, and you know yourself, why am I going to draft, anybody on the Raiders, for
Jerome
instance?
Ford.
Mhm.
As if, whoever the Raiders fans probably would pick them. Sorry guys, but
Hey,
you know who you are.
you're hating.
Yeah. But you know, let's just use the Steelers for instance. I know the team pretty well from top to bottom, more so than anybody in my league, at least, because nobody else is a Steelers fan that I know of. So I know to stay away from that team. Let
Yeah.
let
Mm,
somebody go and think that they're getting some star name because they're
yep.
talked about a lot. Well, if I've been watching this guy for decades, I know what he's capable of, and I know
Mhm.
what I can
Yep.
predict out of him.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I would. There's kind of debate, and I'd love to get you guys' opinion, and maybe we'll talk about this on another show. But would you rather have that explosive potential each week, or would you rather have I know what I'm getting, let me strategize around it?
All right. So let's talk about this since you opened up a can of worms here. Um, I go for the approach, and again, it's how your league is structured because our leagues that we're in, there's a bonus point, 5 bonus points for any big play of 50 plus yards, right? So
Yeah.
you get the PPR, you get the touchdown, you get the yardage, and then you get the bonus point.
And remember that what is the big play? What is it considered in our league? What is it? It has to be a 30
50
yard
yard
plus
plus.
play. A 50
Yeah.
yard plus? Okay.
And it has to be a touchdown. It
Yeah.
can't be a 50-yard gain. It has to be a
Yeah.
touchdown.
Big
Kind of a
touchdowns.
nice, it's kind of a nice little parlay.
It's nice. But I am more conservative because, I would rather have the St. Browns who are going to get me 18 points guaranteed every
Yeah.
stinking week, no matter what he does. Give
100%.
me 18
Yeah.
points. Jefferson's going to get me 40 points one week, and he can have a stinker the next week at 6 points. Or Tyreek Hill last year was god awful. He killed me.
Oh, he was awful.
You see what I'm saying? So I want consistent guys. Saquon Barkley last year, consistent. Consistency wins championships, man.
Yep. So if you think about the guys that were really inconsistent, you're talking about like Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Jonathan Taylor? He was so up and down through the season. Then he had his last 3 weeks that were insane.
Yep.
But I'm gonna agree with Nathan on the fact that I got so burned by being a homer last year
Mm-hmm.
that I had learned my biggest lesson because I traded away Joe Burrow when I had the stack with Jamar Chase to keep Jordan Love. And that, yes, you can laugh at it. It single handedly lost me the championship. And so I recently traded back for Joe Burrow because I was like, that was the biggest, dumbest mistake I ever made. And so the biggest lesson for any fantasy players is be diverse. If do not value your favorite team over anyone else. Dip in everybody. Like it's go for any team. I mean, the Bears suck, so I'd never draft them. But it's
Shut up.
you should not value your team's players over anyone else. If it's a better player, then go for it. But
Yeah, I
do
agree with
not
that.
play you if you play Homer fantasy football, you're playing to lose.
I've seen it work in different ways. I remember a couple years ago there was a guy in our league that was a Bucks fan, and
Yeah,
but that was when Brady was on the Bucks.
yeah,
And so, like, he went all the way to the championship game. And then
yeah,
the crazy thing was that week, everybody got injured
yep,
or they sat him because they're already in the playoffs. And so he ended
yep.
up losing the championship game. And then another year, this guy drafted all Broncos and went 0 and 14.
That was I feel like that was like 2 years after Peyton Manning
Yeah,
retired.
exactly. He was a huge homer and got
Yeah.
trashed, and he quit
It's such
fantasy
a
after that.
it's such a fragile strategy.
I'm not joking you, man.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
bad. I remember that. That was like
That was
that was the year
before my
they
time. I don't remember that.
yeah, that was the year they like drafted a
Yeah.
quarterback in the first round. They were just
Oh,
god awful
so
with the
dumb, dude.
Broncos.
So dumb. So here's another thing I'm going to throw out there with you guys. Just a couple more strategy points that I've got. Number one, don't draft based on bye week. That's going to get you
100%.
beat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that's
going to
too.
go.
That's too many variables. I
If
agree.
you're
Yeah.
so worried about bye week, then it's not going to go well for you because you might pass up on a player that's
Yep.
way better than the player you take just for a different bye week. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah. So we all agree on that point. Next one is do your research on rookie running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends, man, because last year was a perfect point of unbelievable wide receiver class that I've never
Yeah.
seen before.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Right.
I
So
mean,
this year is what the running back class, man.
yes.
Dang.
I mean, I think the rookie class last year was about as good as you can get
Si-
on all platforms because at running back you get Bucky Irving, at wide receiver you get Neighbors, Thomas, McConkey.
Thomas Jr.
Yeah, you get McDaniel or yeah, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix. This
Harrison
year,
Jr.
I would take a shot on any rookie running back now, barring Judkins. With it, he's most likely going to be suspended. Everyone for half the year, barring Junkins. I would take a shot on any of these rookie running backs.
Oh, studs.
Obviously, Genty is going to be a star. But I would take the shot on Hampton, Harvey, Henderson. Um, there's another one that was even I even like Cam Scatterbill. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
wealth at the running back position at rookies right now.
Well, Caleb Johnson at Leatherwood still, right?
Caleb
Leatherwood.
Johnson, dude.
I was
He's
just getting ready to bring him up. Maybe
God.
I was going to let it go and just keep that one to myself. I do have to come back and almost contradict my own self and my point we were just talking about picking players. I think this guy in particular is somebody that could go undrafted, and he could by mid-season be the starting running back. We
Okay.
don't know, So there are not just in his example, but rookies at the running back position could be called on one day, and they could turn out to be. They're not going to be Saquon because everybody knew who he was coming in.
yeah.
Yep.
It's a great low key bench player.
Yep.
Is a rookie running back.
Yeah. So another question for you guys, and this is a hot topic, is players with injury history. We were talking about this before the show.
I love this topic.
All right, give it to me, Leatherwood. What's your
I'd
approach?
never ever pick them. Never.
Okay.
Why would I pick? For instance, Darren Waller was a great tight end. And
Yes.
I'm going to drive in on this specifically. I'm not picking anybody with a hamstring injury.
Jefferson right now, bro.
Jefferson, dude.
I ain't taking him.
Yep.
That's my hot take. I would not take JJ because of a hamstring.
Yeah.
Now, I say that in jest because he is the man.
Mhm.
And if you passed on him, it would come back. Karma would get you. But Darren Waller, back to his example, I mean, this guy was lights out for how many years in a row? 3?
Oh, yeah.
At
I got beat
least.
by him so many times by Greeny here.
Yeah, I got him for the hot 2 years he was good.
Oh,
Yeah, I draft him.
killed
He
me.
gets a hamstring injury, was never the same player
Yep.
ever again.
Yep.
So that's a great example of who they are.
Yep.
I mean, who is that guy that was traded from the Ravens? J.K. Dobbins.
Oh, made a
every
glass.
single year.
Made a
And
glass.
then you might as well throw Gus Edwards in the mix because he was going to get hurt. There's just certain guys that get injured every single year. You know who they are.
Yep.
Why would you want that sword of Damocles hanging over your head?
But yet it dangles.
It's going to be the week.
You see,
CMC,
So
though,
since
dude.
Since you guys are on the side of not touching injured players, I'm fine playing the devil's advocate of I'm too tempted. The apple's in front of me and I'm taking the bite, dude. It's there. It's dangling in my face. Christian McCaffrey, it has burned me. I'm not even joking, like so many times, and yet he's going in the second round in some drafts.
It's insane.
And this guy, if he's not hurt, he is always the running back one. And to be fair, he's been hurt like how many seasons has he been in the league now? What is 6, 7?
Probably half
He's
the
been hurt.
seasons.
He's been hurt half of that, but the other half, the dude is putting stupid numbers up.
All time.
And so I think that fantasy football should always be played to win. If you're not playing to win, what the heck are you doing? And Christian McCaffrey is the biggest play to win player you can take, dude, because either you're not making the playoffs or he's putting you on his back and he is carrying you to the finish line. And even players like Joe Burrow has injury history. I have no problems taking Joe Burrow.
I think it's about the league though. So
It's about the league.
if you're doing
George
redraft,
Kittle has
do
injury
it.
history. I have no problems taking George Kittle because I'm thinking these guys they have the talent. I'm betting on the talent. If they stay healthy, I'm gonna win. If not, who cares? I'm not winning anyway if I play conservative.
Yeah, and I think the big deal is the dynasty versus redrafts. Like, so
Yes.
if you're doing redrafts every year, you take a risk on CMC. But if you got
Yes.
dynasty, you ain't taking a risk on CMC.
Dynasty CMC is different.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Dynasty CMC,
Yeah.
bro. Not touching them. So
If we're talking dynasty, yeah, you're like Bijan is the holy grail of running backs in dynasty right
he's a
now.
beast. Yep, number one, man.
Yeah.
Running backs. So let me ask you guys another question on your draft preparation this year, 2025 PPR. Let's just say we're in dynasty format. Who do you think is deeper, the running backs or the wide receivers?
There's so many running backs this year.
I just have to instinctively say wide receiver.
Yeah.
I agree with Leatherwood. I think wide receivers are deeper. I think if you go with that running back in your first round pick, there is a whole slew of wide receivers. that
Yeah.
are number
I'm
one.
going to give you a great example.
Okay.
I mean, let's say that you prioritize it and you end up with James Cook as your RB1.
Oof.
I mean, what's your anxiety level week to week?
100%, dude. I'm
Yeah.
sweating it out until the season starts.
I think
It could very well be if you don't prioritize it.
Yeah, you got to have your crap together, man.
Okay, I'll agree with you guys. I think usually the separation is more. I think the running backs are a little bit deeper this year, but it is hard. It's like that argument did get me because if I had James Cook as my RB1, I'd be in deep
Well,
trouble.
Because there's touchdown regression coming.
100%, and we don't even know if he's going to play for the Bills yet. And how do you guys value James Cook if he's not even playing for the Bills?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, here, what would you guys think? Where's the drop off at? So you got Bijan, you got Saquon, you got Gibbs. Is Gibbs in the top three with those two? Do you think?
Yes.
Yes, I would say Gibbs is there.
Explosive.
He's there. And honestly, I would throw. People are arguing for Genty. I would still. Did you said Barkley, right?
Barkley, yeah. There's three in that tier one.
I would throw McCaffrey in there.
Oof, man.
I would if it were 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But
If this is Dynasty, I'm not throwing McCaffrey in. But for a redraft league, McCaffrey should be in the tier one of running backs.
yeah, I could see it either way.
I could see,
So
yeah. I mean, I think you can go either way on it, but I think the cliff after, let's just say McCaffrey is pretty big, because
I mean, yeah, you're basically the next running back up is Devon Achane or Derrick Henry.
Yep.
So I mean, me personally, I do think there's a big gap between those guys and then the guys in tier one.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a chasm. I mean,
Yeah.
four. I
and
mean,
then you look
four.
at,
Throw a dart at him,
yeah,
and like after that, it's gone.
yeah.
So I think we're all in the agreement that targeting your running back early and hoping in the wide receivers later is the better strategy.
Well,
Yeah.
good for everybody who watches this in our league that knows what we're all going to do now.
Yeah.
And shame on them for not watching it
Yeah,
up to this point.
we don't
Yeah,
want them to watch the video until after the
yeah.
draft.
If they're not watching it, they're not going to win our leagues because this is how you win leagues right here.
All right, guys. So I got one final question for you to end our show. Before we end our show, we want one bold take from all three of us for the fantasy football 2025 season. So, Leatherwood, we're going to start with you. What's your bold take for 2025?
I think Puka Nakua will not finish in the top 7 running backs, or I'm sorry, wide receivers.
Wow.
The reason that I say that is because he did have a couple nasty injuries last year that he played through, but he also has your buddy Devontae Adams coming in, stealing snaps
He's
from
still
him.
a stud.
Then on top of that, Stafford's going to be there, but you always expect, what if their running back position is strong again this year? What if? There's the hot take.
All right. That's
okay.
That's our bold take from Leatherwood. All right, Greeny, what you got?
It's so funny that Nathan chose that because my hot take is that Puka Nakua will finish as the wide receiver #1 this year.
Oh my god.
We did not set that up. I swear to you.
No, I had no idea what he was going to say. But so Puka Nakua missed let's see, 5 games last season. So there is that. But when he came back, he had 5 games over 8 weeks, over 20 points, and one of them was a 40-point game. Over Matthew Stafford's career, he has been known to hyper target one player on his offense and just carry them. Cooper Kupp was not that big until Matthew Stafford decided to throw him the ball 12 times a game. Puka Nakua has shown in his rookie year that he can sustain that type of workload, as he had like 100 catches in his rookie year. He's talented. He's in a good offense. And over the past 4 years, if you think about who finished as the wide receiver 1, no one has repeated. And it's been Chase, Jefferson, CD, and Cooper Kupp. And when you think about each of those teams, you're thinking about this. You're thinking that they were in a high offense, that they were in a pass-first offense, and that they were getting 150-plus targets. And I know Devontae is there, but I am the believer that the Rams are going to throw it more than they're going to run it. And I think because Puka's been there more than Devontae, he's going to get that type of target share. And for the fact that he hasn't had a lot of touchdowns in his career, you can only say that the touchdowns will go up. So that's my bold take, that Puka will be the wide receiver 1 this year.
So we know Greeny is going to go for Puka. We know Leatherwood is not going for Puka.
That is so funny. As soon as he said something, I'm like, oh no, he's going to take what I was going to say. And then no, he went completely opposite.
Completely opposite, man. Holy crap. So that is 2 opposite ends of the spectrum on this thing, man. Puka Nakua, why is he the most popular guy in the segment today?
I don't know. Maybe his name is super fun to say. So
yeah, it is. All right. So my bold take, and I'd put some money down on this one.
No.
Greeny, I told you about it earlier. I've already told you Leatherwood.
It's not happening.
It's happening. I'm telling you,
I would agree with you.
Happening, bro. AJ Brown, I am not high on this year, right? So my take on this is that I think Ladd McConkey will finish with more fantasy points, PPR, than AJ Brown. That's my hot take.
When I read it, because you sent it, you texted me, like the initial shock your brain sees, like there's no way that'll happen. But I got to admit, the more that I thought about it, the more that I saw the possibility could happen.
Yeah, and Greeny, what stat did you read me before the podcast started about who outscored AJ Brown?
So, of course, you bring this up. This is, and I told you right before I read this stat, this was nothing against AJ Brown. It was just surprising to me. Jacoby Myers scored more fantasy points than AJ Brown last season.
Boom. Raiders, Jacoby Myers.
And it's for the fact that AJ Brown had 3 more touchdowns than Jacoby Myers, but Jacoby Myers had 20 more catches. And in PPR, that's a nail in the coffin.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just gonna say this though, is that the Eagles ran at the highest clip of anyone in the league last year. Their whole strategy was let's hand it to Saquon and let him save us. There's no way they do that again. Saquon cannot handle that kind of workload 2 years in a row. AJ Brown will get the workload more. The Chargers are clearly trying to run the ball. I think AJ Brown is a better wide receiver than Ladd. I believe in him to score more points.
Now, I mean, if we're saying who's the better, more gifted wide receiver, yeah, I mean AJ Brown all day long. But I'm just talking fantasy football and the scheme that they're in.
Yeah.
Mouths to feed at the Chargers is not as many as the Eagles. So that's my take. So I'm going to
The argument's there. I could see the path.
It's there, bro. I mean, Jacoby Myers, for the love of God.
Yeah, he might be in my sleeper list when we get to that show, but we'll see.
We're all three going to go after him too. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to bring it into our show. This is our first podcast, so we're pretty excited about it. We're going to have a channel, so please follow us on our channel, and we'll be uploading this video and many other podcasts here soon. Our next podcast is going to have to do with the fantasy football draft rankings. So that should be pretty exciting. Topic. We're all going to have our different rankings. We're going to have our dark horse, our sleepers, our who we think are going to be projected number one, who's going to finish the season at number one.
It's hot.
It's going to be awesome. So this is just the research we've done, the experience we've done in the past. And we love fantasy football just like you guys. So make
sure to comment and subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe and give us a thumbs up. All right, guys. Anything else before we go?
I think that's it.
All right.
All good.
Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.